Starting from the very first question, interesting question, very interesting question from ecology. This question is, the evil quadrant of biodiversity loss includes which of the following? Can I have the pen, please, Arun? The evil quadrants, the four, which are the biodiversity losses. Four factors, which are the biodiversity loss, responsible for biodiversity losses. The number one is your habitat loss, everyone. I have seen one more question in this paper only, in which the most important evil quadrant was also being asked. Again, very important. It is a PYQ. It has been asked previously also. Evil quadrants are four, which is habitat loss. First statement, overexploitation, alien species, air pollution is not the part. Number two, habitat loss and fragmentation, overexploitation, alien species invasion, and then we have coextinction. Yes, habitat loss, fragmentation, air pollution, again, water pollution, no. Then number four is overexploitation, alien species invasion, soil pollution, not at all. So for this question, answer has to be option number two. Very easy question. It was previously asked also in the NEET examination. Okay, moving on to the second question. Easy question from cell chapter. Easy question from cell chapter. Okay. Which of the following is the site for active ribosomal rRNA? rRNA synthesis. If we speak about nucleus, inside the nucleus, we do have presence of a globular structure. We call that what? Nucleolus. So nucleolus is the site for your ribosomal RNA synthesis. Again, it is a PYQ. This entire statement is been taken from a PYQ. It is a previous year question which has been asked, okay? Chromatin, which is the entire genetic material. Centrosome, it cannot be the answer. Kinetochore, which is present in this is my chromosome, okay? This is my centromere, which holds the two sister chromatids together. On both the sides of this centromere, we do have presence of kinetochore. And this kinetochore is responsible for joining of spindle fibers. So at the time of cell division, this kinetochore will be helping out. Okay, so for this particular question, the answer is option number one, which is nucleolus. Okay, next question. Match the column type of question. I was talking about this question only, which is from cell cycle. Very interesting question. We do have match the column 1 here and column 2 here. In the column 1, we have been provided different stages of interphase and of M phase. Okay, so we have the G1 phase stage of interphase, S phase, G2 phase, and then we have the M phase. S phase is the stage wherein DNA replication takes place. So S phase, actual cell division occurs, that will be into the M phase. Cell is metabolically active and continuously grows, but does not replicate its DNA. It will be into G1 stage. Synthesis of DNA, that will be happening into the S phase, because in the S phase only the amount of DNA is going to be the double. If we have amount of DNA which is 2C, after the S phase the amount is going to be 4C. Okay, so in the S phase, which is the most crucial stage of the entire cell division process, there we're gonna find the DNA has got doubled. So proteins, the rest of the proteins which are being left out before going to the mitosis process, the rest of the protein will get duplicated. So proteins are synthesized while cell growth will be continuous. So we can see for A, it is option number 2. For B, it is option number 3. For C, it is option number 4. And for D, it is going to be option number 1. So A2, B3, D4, C4 and D1. Answer has to be option number 1. Okay, everyone? Everyone is at option A. Perfect. Moving on to the next question, which is again match the column type of question. This is from ecology part. Match the column type of question. We do have column 1 here, column 2 here. What is productivity? Net primary productivity, which is my NPP, gross primary, which is my GPP, secondary productivity, which comes after the primary productivity. Okay, so productivity, of course, is the rate of biomass. The entire rate of biomass production will be your entire productivity. Then NPP is your GPP minus respiratory losses. So NPP is gross primary productivity minus respiratory losses. NPP will always be GPP minus respiratory losses. Okay. Then comes your gross primary, which is primary productivity, which is your rate of production of organic matter during photosynthesis. And last but not the least, your secondary productivity will be the rate of formation of new organic matter for the consumer. So A goes with option number 3, B goes with option number 1, C goes with 4, and D goes with option number 2. So answer of this question has to be your option number 2. Okay, perfect. Next question. Again, this question, this is a statement based question. Okay, in this question we can see multiple information has been concatenated. Different statements are from different chapters over there. Okay, so which of the following statements are correct? Correct statements we need to find out. So first statement, the Amazon rainforest being cut and clear for cultivation of soybeans is an example of habitat loss. Yes, it is a crucial example of habitat loss and fragmentation. Then number 2 statement is Steeler sea cow and passenger pigeon became extinct due to the over-exploitation by humans. That is also correct statement. Nile perch introduced into Lake Victoria, perfect, help in population growth, not population growth. It is basically declining the population of cichlid fishes. Incorrect statement. Water hyacinth is an invasive species. Yes, it was also introduced. Okay, correct statement. Even when a species becomes extinct, the plant and animal species associated with it are not affected. They will be affected. So whenever we do have two populations growing together, if they are showing mutualism, they will coexist, they will co-grow, and they will co-extinct together. If one out of these two will extinct, automatically the second is also going to be extinct with that particular species which is there, because there is this interdependency upon both of them. Correct? So A, B and D is correct. So answer has to be option number 2, which is A, B and D only. Okay. Next question is, how many ATP and NADPH2 molecule are required to make one molecule of glucose through Calvin cycle? So if we speak about C3 cycle, for C3 cycle, if we speak about per CO2 fixation, ATP, the number of ATP which are required is 3. The number of NADPH2 which are required is 2. So per CO2 it is 3 and 2. For glucose molecule, we have to multiply it with 6. So for glucose it is 6 CO2. That means we have 18 ATP and we do have 12 NADPH2. So 18 ATP and 12 NADPH2. For such kind of question, if we do understand per CO2 fixation, then automatically we can convert it for, let's say, 2 CO2, 5 CO2, 6 CO2, 8 CO2 for 2 glucose molecule, for 5 glucose molecule, we can easily understand and do the calculation. So per CO2 for C3 cycle, per CO2 it is 3 ATP and 2 NADPH2. Okay. Students are asking how was the paper. The paper, you can see, seems to be easy paper. In fact, the physics sir was also saying it was not that, difficult paper. It was an easy paper only. Okay, perfect. Moving on to the next question. I think this is the same question that has been typed twice. So for Calvin pathway, it is 18 ATP and 12 NADPH2. Yes, same question has been typed. Yes, next question is again from the ecology portion. Interesting question. Okay, this is also a repeated question. This has been asked into previous year question. Okay, so if we speak about match the column 1 is there, column 2 is there. We have decomposition, we have detritus, we have mineralization, and we have humification. So decomposition, accumulation of dark color amorphous, which is my humus, release of inorganic nutrients by activity of microbes, breathing down complex organic matter into inorganic substance, dead remains of plant and animal, including fecal matter. So decomposition is breaking down, where we're gonna break down the large molecule into the smaller ones will be my decomposition. Then detritus, dead remains of plant and animals, that will include fecal matter. The mineralization will be it will be release of inorganic nutrients by the activity of microbes. And humification is obviously formation of humus, which is a dark amorphous color substance. So for decomposition A, we do have option number 3. For detritus B, we have option number 4. For C, it is option number 2. For D, it is option number 1. A, 3, B, 4, C, 2 and D, 1. Answer has to be option number 3 for this particular question. Okay. Perfect. Moving on to the next question. In which of one of the following the ovules are not enclosed by an ovary wall and remains exposed? So if we speak about ovules, 1 second, give me just 1 second. Yes. So if we speak about next question, in which of the following the ovules are not enclosed by an ovary wall and remains exposed? Ovules are exposed into only one condition. Okay. If we speak about gymnosperms, in the gymnosperms there is seed formation. There is seed formation, but in the gymnosperms, ovules are not enclosed by an ovary wall. That is why the seeds will be exposed. So we need to find a gymnosperm. Selaginella is my pteridophyte, Funaria, Pinus, and then we have Wolffia. Okay, so for this question, answer has to be your Pinus, Psychus and Pinus. Both of them are my gymnosperms. Okay. Next question is, this is a commonly asked question from morphology. So we do have placentation. We have list 1 here, list 2, placentation and the example. So we do have marginal, we have axile, we have parietal, we have basal. Parietal, wherein the ovules are at the periphery. Marginal, wherein the ovules are at the margins. Okay, so ovules will be at the margin in the pea plant. Then we do have the axile placentation, which will be into my lemon. Then we have the parietal, that is at the periphery. Mustard is there. Then we have the basal, which is for marigold. So marginal, we have the pea plant. Axile, we have the lemon. Then parietal, mustard, and basal will be for marigold. Example based question from morphology. Answer has to be your option number 3 for this question. Moving on to the next question. The angiosperms, root hair arises from which one of the following regions of the root? So root hairs are like this. This is my root cap, and this area is my area of meristematic activity. Meristematic activity. This is area of elongation, and this one is area of maturation, wherein root hairs are present like this. Okay. So in the area of maturation, your root hairs will be present. It is option number 4, which is area of maturation. Okay. Okay. Perfect. So which one of the following is not a characteristic of plant cell in the phase of elongation? Not a characteristic for elongation phase. In the elongation phase, there will be increased vacuolation. Yes. There will be large conspicuous nuclei. No, that will be into your basically meristematic phase. Cell enlargement will be there, new cell wall deposition will be there. So correct answer has to be option number 2. There is large conspicuous nucleus is not a characteristic for your plant cell. Okay, so the correct answer has to be your option number 2 for this particular question. Perfect. Moving on to the next question. Next question is, which of the following statement are correct with reference to a transcription unit? So correct statement with respect to the transcription units. Okay, this is a statement based question wherein we have the 5 statements. For this particular question, quickly you will solve this question and you'll be able to solve some of your time to solve physics and chemistry questions. Okay, so let's start solving this question. We do have 5 statements here. Number 1 statement is, a transcription unit in DNA is defined primarily by 3 regions. We do have promoter, we have structural genes, and a terminator. Perfectly correct statement. Then we have the promoter is said to be located towards 5' end of the structural gene. Yes, promoter comes at first, which means it is perfectly correct statement. Okay. The promoter is a DNA sequence that provides binding site for RNA polymerase. This is also correct statement. The promoter defines the template and coding strand. The presence of promoter will give which one is the template, which one is the coding strand. Okay, perfectly correct again. The promoter defines the template and coding strand. Then the terminator is located towards the 3' end of the coding strand, and it defines the end of the process of transcription. Again, it is correct statement. A, B, C, D, E, all of the statements are perfectly correct. Answer has to be option number 1. Okay, perfect. Next question. The main function of bulliform cells. It is a previously asked question also. Very commonly asked question. if we speak about monocot leaf, so bulliform cells are basically present specifically into your monocot plants, and bulliform cells, the main function of the bulliform cells is to minimize the water losses. So when they will absorb the water, they will become turgid, and if the exposed surface area is high, which means water losses can be more. If they will be curl, which means exposed surface area is less, which means water losses will also be less. It is a specific feature of your monocot. In the monocot plant only we will find the bulliform cells. So, to make the leaf impermeable to fungal spores, no. To perform photosynthesis, rubbish. To minimize water loss during water stress, yes. To transport water, no. Correct answer has to be option number 3, specifically found in the case of your monocot plants only. Okay? Perfect. Next question. Perfect. Next question is match the column. So, we do have list 1 here. We do have list 2 here. Match the column type of question. Yes. Okay, so in this question we do have 2 columns. Column 1 is there, column 2 is there. In column 1 we have conjunctive tissues, Casparian strip, subsidiary cells and starch sheath. Okay, so Casparian strip is basically the one which has got suberin deposition, correct? So it is the endomembranous cell with suberin deposition. Specialized cell in the vicinity of the guard cells are my subsidiary cells. So basically we do have presence of guard cells, which are my these ones, and outside of the guard cells we do have presence of subsidiary cells, which are these ones. These are my subsidiary cells. So this is my subsidiary cells. Okay. Okay. Then we have conjunctive tissue, which is tissue between xylem and phloem, and the starch sheath is the endodermal cell rich in the starch. So A goes with option number 3, B is with option 4, C is with 1, and D is with 2. Answer has to be your option number 3. Okay. Next question. Heterophilous, it is a commonly asked question. Heterophilous development in response to environment is an example of which of the following phenomena? It is a common example of plasticity. So if we understand heterophily, which is presence of different type of leaf. So based upon the shape, we do have the different type of leaves, and based upon what environmental stimulus that they do have, the end result will be changed. Okay. Okay, so answer has to be your option number 4, which is plasticity. Commonly asked question from your plant growth and development chapter. Correct. Next question is in racemose. So we do have 2 types of inflorescence. One is racemose, second is cymose. In the racemose, basically, the main axis terminates in a flower that happens into my cymose. The growth is limited, again happens into my cymose. Flowers are solitary, that is not an inflorescence at all. Flowers are born in an acropetal succession. Acropetal simply means at the apex we will be having young flowers, and at the base we will be having the old ones. Okay, so if the new flower come at the apical portion, that's what we call as acropetal succession. That will be happening into my racemose inflorescence. Okay. Okay? Huh. Okay, that is your flowers are born in an acropetal succession. Answer is option number 3. Perfect. Next question is, which one of the following disorder is caused? Very commonly asked question, and this is an important question from your genetics as well. If you look at the previous year questions, multiple times this question has been asked. Either sequence has been asked, or amino acid has been asked, or disease has been asked. So this is a multiple time asked questions, which is which of the following disorder is caused by the substitution of glutamic acid by valine. So there is just 1 point mutation, due to which instead of glutamic acid we do have presence of valine at 6th position of beta globin chain. As it is question has been asked multiple times, it is a previous year question. This is a typical case of sickle cell anemia, wherein we do have point mutation. We do have point mutation, and in the point mutation, just because of the change of 1 single nucleotide, your glutamic acid will be changed to valine. So answer has to be your option number C, 3, which is sickle cell anemia. Okay, moving on to the next question. Moving on to the next question. This is again from genetics, very important question, multiple times asked questions. Question is asked either from incomplete dominance or from codominance. This is a combined question from everything. We do have this column 1, we do have this column 2, and we have to match the column, both the columns. So incomplete dominance, wherein we are able to see that my gene is not completely dominant over the recessive one. In the incomplete dominance, we are able to see inheritance of flower color in antirrhinum. See here, if we speak about my dominant will be red color, then we do have the recessive which is white, and then pink color flowers are formed in a heterozygous condition. So in a heterozygous condition, if a normal dominance is there, at that time the red color flower would have formed, but since there is incomplete dominance, which means red color flower will not be formed, we're gonna see the pink color flower. Codominance, wherein both the genes are equally dominant and both the genes are able to, both the alleles rather are able to express themselves. That's what we call as codominance. Blood group is a typical case of your codominance, wherein if an individual has got A blood group and the female counterpart maybe has the B, then in the progeny we're gonna found AB type of blood group. This is a commonly in the case of codominance. Then we have pleiotropy and polygeny. Polygyny, wherein many genes are together, they are collectively responsible for one phenotypic expression. Like we have human skin color, we do have human height, wherein multiple genes are responsible to give one phenotypic expression, that is polygenic. And pleiotropy is just opposite, wherein one gene controls multiple phenotypic expressions, that is my pleiotropy. So for polygyny, human skin color, human height also is the example of polygyny. Pleiotropy, wherein my phenylketonuria disease in human is the example of pleiotropy. So A goes with option number 2, B goes with option number 4, C with option number 3, and D is with option number 1. So A 2, B 4, C 3, and D 1. Correct answer has to be option number 1. Okay. Moving on to the next question, which is arrange the following in correct development sequence related to microsporogenesis. If we speak about microsporogenesis, which is formation of microspore. So if we speak about formation of microspore, my anther will be there will be dissection of the anther, and we're gonna have, this is the dissection wherein we do have, this is my microsporangium. Outside of this, we do have anther wall. Inside of this, we have sporogenous tissue. So inside we have sporogenous tissue. Outside we have epidermis, endothelium, middle layer, and then we have the tapetal cells. This sporogenous tissue, the first and foremost thing is we have the sporogenous tissue. Some of the cells of sporogenous tissue, some of the cells are going to behave as pollen mother cell or microspore mother cell. The ones which are behaving as pollen mother cell, there will be meiosis into these cells. There will be meiosis or reductional division, and hence your pollen grain will be formed. So first of all, after meiosis, my microspore tetrad is going to be formed. When we are going to dissolve this tetrad by the help of Kelly's enzyme, microspores will be there. And from individual microspores, my pollen grain will be formed. So my pollen grain will be formed like this. So sporogenous tissue is my B. Okay, then pollen mother cell is my D, then microspore tetrad is my A, and then pollen grain is my C. So answer has to be B, D, A, and C, which is option number 3 has to be the correct answer. Okay, arrange the following steps of DNA fingerprinting in a correct sequence. So if I speak about DNA fingerprinting technique, which is done just to find out, it is done to find out the paternal links of the progeny as well as of the crime scenes. This is immensely used. So first of all, there will be isolation of DNA and it's digested by restriction endonuclease. So if I speak about, let's say there is a crime scene right now and somebody just forgot a hair follicle at that particular space. So the very first step is we need to find out that hair follicle. We're going to isolate the DNA from that hair follicle. Then we will polymerize the DNA that is being there into that hair follicle. So the very first step will always be isolation of DNA and its digestion by restriction endonuclease. We're going to cut that DNA into multiple parts so that we can go for the next process. Okay, the very first step is isolation. Then comes your a separation of fragments by electrophoresis. By digesting it with restriction endonuclease, we're going to produce so many fragments. Now all of these fragments will basically be separated with the help of electrophoresis technique. Then there will be hybridization using a labeled VNTR probe. So A, then we have A, then we have the B. And then transferring the separated DNA fragments to the synthetic membrane, which is my C. And then finally detection of hybridized DNA fragments by autoradiography. So it is A, E, B, C, D. So answer is my option number 2. Okay, perfect. Next question is exploring molecular, genetic and species level diversity for products of economic importance is called as, so this is called as bioprospecting. If we explore different molecular, genetic and species level diversity for products of economic importance, simple question, it is bioprospecting. Okay, moving on to the next question, which is which of the following statements are true with reference to the sex determination in the case of honeybee? With respect to the honeybee, which one is true? That has been asked. Number 1, an offspring formed from the union of a sperm and an egg developed as a female queen or worker. See, understand, in the case of honeybee, we do have a male progeny, we do have a female. The male has got half the number of chromosomes than the female. So basically, honeybee follows haplodiploidy method, in which haploid is always male and diploid will always be a female. In the female also, we do have a queen bee, we have a worker bee. The queen bee, the function is always just to reproduce, and the worker bees are going to collect the honey from different flowers. Now, if we have a male which has got n number of chromosomes, female which has got 2n number chromosomes, whenever the progeny is going to be formed, this n, which is the male, through mitosis it will produce the male gamete, and female, which is 2n, through meiosis it is going to produce the female gamete. If there is fusion of male and female gamete, so we have n plus n, which means 2n has been formed, and this 2n will always be a female counterpart. This will always be a female counterpart. Okay, so an offspring formed from the union of a sperm and an egg developed as a female queen or worker. That is a perfectly correct statement. An unfertilized egg develops as a male, yes, by parthenogenesis. So unfertilized egg simply means the N is there. There is no egg formation. I mean to say there is no N coming from the female counterpart. It is unfertilized only. That is going to produce male because it has got half the number of chromosomes. Okay. A male has half the number of chromosomes than that of the female, perfectly correct. Male produces sperms by meiosis. So male has got n number of chromosomes. In the n, meiosis can never ever happen. It is going to produce male gametes through mitosis, not through meiosis. It is an incorrect statement. Honeybee have a haplodiploid sex determination system. Yes, that is perfectly correct. So A, B, C and E are correct. A, B, C, D is not correct. Answer has to be option number 4. Okay, moving on to the next question, which is yes, very interesting question, which is the main criteria used for 5 kingdom classification proposed by Whittaker, sir. So main criteria as well: cell structure, yes; body organization, yes; presence of flagellum was never a main criteria; reproduction, yes; phylogenetic analysis, yes. So A, B, D and E were the main criteria used by Whittaker, sir, and presence of flagella is not a criteria that was used. So A, B, D and E has to be the correct answer. A, B, D and E. Okay. Moving on to the next question, which is which one of the following is a triploid 3n? So primary endosperm cell PEN is my 3n, central cell is my n plus n, zygote is my 2n, synergid is my n. Triploid is 3n, so 3n is going to be my primary endosperm cell, which is PEN. Okay, perfect. Moving on to this one. In the lac operon, the Z gene codes for. In the lac operon, we do have Z, Y and A. This Z always code for beta galactosidase. This Y codes for permease. This A codes for trans-acetylase. Okay, so Z is going to code for what? Beta galactosidase, which is option number 4 has to be a correct answer. Okay. Now, next question is we do have list 1 and list 2. Column 1, we have some enzymes. Column 2, we have the functions of these enzymes. Okay. Okay. So next question is, we do have growth regulators, and then we have the function. This is from the phytohormones. This is from the phytohormones part, which is, we do have these growth regulators, which are my phytohormones, and this is the function of the phytohormones. Okay, so we have 2,4-D. It acts as a herbicide. Then we have gibberellic acid, which is GA3, which is used into the brewing industry. Then we have the kinetin, which is used for nutrient immobilization. Then we have the abscisic acid, which is acting as a stress hormone, and stimulation of stomatal closure will be there. So A, which is 2,4-D, answer has to be option number 3. B, it has to be 1. C, it has to be 4. And D, it has to be 2. C, it has to be D. Okay, answer is option number 3. Okay, perfect. Next question. Okay, in this question, the reaction has been given to us. This is a reaction. The respiratory quotient of a biomolecule used for respiration has been asked. So, RQ value is always the volume of CO2 evolved divided by volume of oxygen consumed. Okay, so volume of CO2 is 102. It is 102. Divided by volume of O2 is 145. 145. It comes somewhere between 0.7. So value will be between 0.5 and 0.95 because it is 0.7. Less than 0.5, no. Between 1.25 and 2, no. 1, no. It is between 0.5 to 0.95. RQ value for carbohydrates will always be 1. RQ value for fats and protein will always be less than 1. RQ value for organic acid will always be more than 1. Okay. 1 second. I think there is this. Okay. Perfect. Yes. Next question is, since the origin and diversification of life on Earth, there have been 5 episodes of mass extinction of species. How is the 6th extinction, which is in progress, different from the previous episode? So the 6th one, which is right now happening, is faster than the previous ones. The current species extinction rate are far less known. The present species extinction rate are 100 to 1,000 times faster than the pre-human times. Yes, the present net species extinction rate is 0. The current species extinction rate is nearly 10 times faster than that in the, not 10, it is 100 to 1,000 times faster. Answer has to be option number 2. Okay. Okay, next question is, which one of the following statement is not true about the universal rule of binomial nomenclature? Not a true statement. Not true about the universal rule for binomial. For binomial nomenclature, both the words in biological name when handwritten are separately underlined or printed in italics. Perfectly correct statement. The specific epithet or species in the biological name starts with small letter. So if we have Mangifera indica, Mangifera M will be capital, indica I will be small. So specific epithet in the name will always start with a small letter. The first word in the biological name represents the specific epithet. The first word represents the genus and the second component represents the specific epithet. It is incorrect statement. Biological names are generally in Latin or they will be Latinized whenever whenever the new name comes into the picture. So answer has to be option number 3 into this question. Not true has been asked into this question. Okay. See everyone, please do hit the like button, keep hitting the like button and keep sharing this session among all of your friends. After this session, we will upload the correct answer key also to all of you. Key, yes, Menti Sane, we will upload the answer key after 1 hour maybe, at max after 1 hour, okay? The enzyme required for carboxylation in the Calvin cycle. For Calvin cycle, the enzyme is Rubisco. It is Rubisco, which is RUBP, which is RUBP. This C stands for carboxylase and this O stands for oxygenase. So it is PEP carboxylase. No, it is into the C4 plant. Carboxypeptidase, hexokinase, it is RUBP carboxylase oxygenase. Okay, answer has to be option number 2. Next question is, which one of the following types of pollination brings genetically different type of pollen grain to the stigma? So, geitonogamy, wherein same plant has been involved. For same plant, we do have 2 different flowers. Flowers are different, but they both are on the same plant, geitonogamy. Autogamy, we have same plant and on the same flower it is happening. Okay. Cleistogamy, wherein we have the closed flower. It is the closed flower. Genogamy or allogamy, wherein we have the different plant. So genetically different type of pollen grain to the stigma will be through genogamy, because for rest of the 2, the same plant has been involved, which means genetically similar type of pollen grain will be used up. Answer is excuse me, option number excuse me, option number 3 for this question. Moving on to the next question, we have column 1 here, we have column 2 here. So process and the location. Glycolysis. The glycolysis will be happening into my cytoplasm. Electron transport chain. This will always be into your inner mitochondrial membrane. Krebs cycle will be into the mitochondrial matrix. Accumulation of protein will be into the intermembrane space. So glycolysis happening into cytoplasm, electron transport system or electron transport chain, one and same thing, into inner mitochondrial membrane. Accumulation is happening into intermembrane space. Krebs cycle is into mitochondrial matrix. A, 3, B, 1, C, 4 and D2. Answer has to be option number 2. Okay. Moving on to the next question. Okay. The sixth mutant codon of beta globin gene causing polymerization of hemoglobin and change in RBC shape. Within the same paper from sickle cell anemia, 2 questions has been asked. So for sickle cell anemia, if we speak about sickle cell anemia, there is this point mutation which is happening, and into that point mutation, specifically on the beta globin chain, your glutamic acid will be changed into valine. Glutamic acid will be changed into your valine. Okay, so glutamic acid is your change into your valine into this question. Okay, so this is going to be my point mutation which is happening. In the same paper itself, we have got 2 questions from the same portion. Okay, so you're loving the session. Yes, everyone. Everyone, please do let me know till now so far how many of the questions you have done correctly. Everyone, do hit the like button first of all, and do let me know how many of you have done the question correctly. How many of you have done the questions correctly? Till now so far, how many marks you are able to obtain? This is the second question from the same topic. This is the second question from the same topic. Okay. So if we speak about the beta globin chain, how many of you, come on, everybody tell me, how many of you have done all the questions correctly till now so far? And don't forget to hit the like button, everybody. Do hit the like button also. Yes. Do hit the like button, everyone. All the questions are correct. All the 90. Wow. So I'm hoping to get so many 720 marks this year. I'm hoping to get so many 720 marks this year. Okay, perfect. So this question again, in sickle cell anemia, my RBC shape will be changed from the biconcave shape. It will be sickle shape just because of one single mutation, which is a point mutation happening into beta globin chain. Glutamic acid will be changed into the valine. Your GUG will be converted. Okay, change into the RBC shape. That is your GUG. Answer is option number 2. Perfect. Next question is, which one of the following is an appropriate example of sexual deceit? So sexual deceit is basically when Ophiuchus, specifically the female counterpart of the Ophiuchus, there is this insect in which we are able to see the female counterpart exactly looks like the flower of the Ophiuchus. So that insect comes to for copulation process, but actually this is a flower, so it gets sexual deceited. It is in the case of Ophiuchus, and bumblebee has also been given. Okay, so commonly asked question again from the ecology portion. This is not given in the NCERT, but since we do know Ophiuchus for sure, so we can take this answer. Okay, which is option number 3, Ophiuchus. Okay, perfect. Next question is, what is the probability of having children with O blood group where both mother? This is an interesting question that has been asked. So both the parents are heterozygous for A and B. So if we speak about mother, which is female, having A blood group, father, which is having B blood group. Heterozygous means it is IA small I. Heterozygous means it is IB small I. If we draw a Punnett square over here, then we're gonna find here IA small I, here IB and small I. In the first checker box, we can write down IA, IB, second IB small I, third IA small I, fourth is small I small I. This is the O blood group. This is B blood group, this is AB, this is A blood group. Okay, so question is asking me about probability of having O blood group. So it is 25% in all the progeny. Answer has to be option number 4, which is 25%. Okay. Moving on to the next question, which is non-membrane bound cell organelle found in both prokaryote as well as eukaryote. Very, very easy question. It is my ribosome, which is the membraneless organelle found into both prokaryotes as well as eukaryotes. In the prokaryotes, we're going to have very less organelle, and we don't have any single membrane bound organelle. We don't have any double membrane bound organelle. My score is around 450. For 450, I don't think MBBS will be possible this year, because paper level, if I look at the paper level, the cutoff is going to be high. Okay, so answer for this question will be option number 2, which is ribosomes. Moving on to the next question, which is ecological pyramid represent the relationship between the organisms at different trophic level, and they are generally inverted. Generally inverted, this is a typical case of pyramid of biomass in the case of C. Answer is option number 2 for this particular question. Moving on to the next question. Yes, so we do have 2 columns here, column 1 and column 2. This is again commonly asked question. Streptokinase is used for removal of clots from the blood vessels. Statin, blood cholesterol lowering agent. Lipase, detergent formulation. Cyclosporin A is for immunosuppress. It is an immunosuppressive agent. So A, option number 2, B, 3, C, 4, and D goes with option number 1. Answer has to be option number 1. Okay, perfect. Next question is, choose the correct statement regarding cell organelle and their inclusions. Okay, the endomembrane system includes Golgi complex, endoplasmic reticulum, and mitochondria is not the part of endomembrane system. Okay, it is not the part. We do have endoplasmic reticulum, we do have Golgi complex, we do have vacuoles, we do have lysosome. It is not a part. Then rough endoplasmic reticulum bears ribosomes on its surface. Yes, on RER we do have presence of ribosomes on the surface. Correct statement. Then we have both mitochondria and plastid, they have circular DNA. Both of them are double membrane bound organelle. Both of them seems to have endosymbiont origin, which means they were once used to be prokaryotes, and now they started living inside the eukaryotes, and now they have stayed there like forever. Okay, so both of them have circular DNA. Then comes a network of microtubule, microfilament, and intermediate filament present in the cytoplasm is called as a cytoskeleton. Okay, that is again perfectly correct statement. Mitochondria is a single membrane. It is not a single membrane bound. It is a double membrane bound organelle. So A is wrong, E is wrong, B, C, D is correct. So answer has to be option number 4, which is B, C, and D. Okay, perfect. Moving on to the next question. What do you think about Cutoff, about cutoff, I think it is going to be high this year. Okay. In the population of a grasshopper species, the chromosome number of some member is 23 and some members have 24. So in the grasshopper, we do have a X0 type of system, wherein my male have X0 and female have XX type of chromosome. Male is X0, female is XX, which means male has got one chromosome less, which is 23, than the female. So male is 23, female is 24. Answer has to be option number 4, which is male and female. Okay, answer has to be 24. Moving on to the next question. In which animal do haploid cell divide mitotically to produce gamete? Again, same question has been asked. Your male honeybee is the one which is haploid, and it will divide mitotically to produce mitosis will be there to produce gamete. Again, mitosis will be has to be there. So answer has to be option number 1, which is male honeybee. Which is male honeybee. Okay, so this is the option answer number 4. Then we have answer number 1, which is male honeybee. Moving on to the next question. Select the correct statement regarding cell membrane in eukaryotic cell. Okay, regarding the cell membrane in the eukaryotic cell. Then we have membrane of human RBC have approximately 52% protein. It is the first statement. Major phospholipids are arranged in a bilayer. Yes. Extension of a plasma membrane into the cell form mesosomes. Okay. Tail towards the inner part of lipid are hydrophobic and thus protected from aqueous medium. Okay, glycocalyx is present on the outer surface of the plasma membrane. We have to choose the correct answer from the options. So we do have A, B, C, D, E, 5 statements, and we need to find out the correct answer. How many of them are correct statement? So let's understand or analyze all the statements one by one. Okay. First statement is membrane of human RBC have approximately 52% protein. Okay, perfect. So number 1 is membrane of human RBC have approximately 52% protein, which is a correct statement. Major phospholipids are arranged in a bilayer. Yes, that is again a perfectly correct statement. Extension of plasma membrane into the cell form mesosome. In the case of prokaryotes, yes, but this is the case for eukaryotic cell, so it cannot, it is a wrong statement. Then we have tails towards the inner part. So this is like this. We have a phospholipid head like this. Tails are like this. It goes like this. Then we have transmembrane protein, which is like this. Okay, this is my lipid and these are my protein. So tails towards the inner part of lipid are hydrophobic. That is the correct statement. Glycocalyx is present on the outer surface of the plasma membrane. That is basically the part of the cell envelope. That is not on the outer surface. So this is a wrong statement. A, B, and D is the correct answer. Has to be option number 4. Okay. Then we have the next question. What an idea did the key? The key will be released very soon. And for ST, yes, the cutoff for general OBC, SC, ST we will reveal very soon. It is, very easy to tell about the cutoff. It is not a, I can say इतना सिंपल टास्क नहीं है भाई फिलहाल कट ऑफ के बारे में बताना. आप मत सोचिए कट ऑफ के बारे में, आप अभी फिलहाल सोचिए पेपर कैसा गया, मार्क्स आपके कितने आए. आप अपने मार्क्स को कैलकुलेट करिए एंड कैलकुलेट करके तैयार रहिए. हम जल्दी ही कट ऑफ के ऊपर सेशन लेकर के आएंगे. हम आपको हर साल बहुत ही एक्यूरेट एनालिसिस देते हैं. एक्यूरेटली एवरी ईयर वी आर टेलिंग यू. हमारे रिजल्ट्स भी बहुत अच्छे आप देख रहे हो साल दर साल. एवरी ईयर यू गोना फाइंड की ऑल इंडिया रैंक वंस आर फ्रॉम आवर इंस्टीट्यूट ओनली. आप लोग देखते हो इस चीज को. तो यस, ये सेम चीज इस साल भी रेसिप्रोकेट होने वाली है. ठीक है. तो फॉर कट ऑफ आई विल बी टेकिंग ए सेशन टुमारो. कल मैं सेशन लूंगी डिटेल में. आपके मार्क्स के बेसिस पे आपकी कट ऑफ प्लस किस कॉलेज में आपका एडमिशन हो सकता है, दैट आई विल बी टेलिंग यू फॉर श्योर. ठीक है. तो ये हम कल करने वाले हैं सेशन. मेक श्योर आप चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करके रखिए, आप बेल आइकन को हिट रखिए ताकि आपके पास में नोटिफिकेशंस आते रहें हर एक सेशन के. ठीक है. हाँ जी. यस. सो दिस क्वेश्चन, व्हिच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इक्वेशन डिपिक्ट्स लॉजिस्टिक पॉपुलेशन ग्रोथ के बारे में आपसे पूछा हुआ है. लॉजिस्टिक पॉपुलेशन ग्रोथ इज गिवन बाय dn by dt rn k minus n by k. Correct answer is option number 1. Again, in such kind of question, we should know the extension of what is n, what is r, what is k. That is the overall idea for such kind of questions. टिल नाउ सो फार आज तक कभी भी मैथमेटिकल क्वेश्चन इस पोर्शन के ऊपर आपसे नहीं पूछा गया है, एंड इस साल भी फिर नहीं पूछा गया. ठीक है, की आपको जल्दी ही रिलीज कर दी जाएगी बच्चों. वी विल रिलीज द की वेरी सुन. लेट्स मूव टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. We will release the answer key on the same platform. You can join our Telegram channel. You can fill the Google form and you will get the answer key. At the same time, we will give you the rank prediction also from that particular answer key. Okay, let's move to the next question. Next question is about the Swiss cheese. What is the reason behind production of large holes in the Swiss cheese? So large holes is basically produced by the large production of CO2, and CO2 is produced just by the fermentation process. So we need to find out how come large amount of CO2 has been produced, that too on the impact of fermentation process. So the first option is the production of large amount of CO2 by Clostridium botulicum. Okay, Swiss cheese. The organism which is producing the Swiss cheese is not Clostridium botulicum. The production of large amount of CO2 and H2 by Trichoderma polysporum. Again, the production of large amount of CO2 and H2 by lactic acid bacteria called Lactobacillus. This is not a correct statement. Production of large amount of CO2 by Propionibacterium shermani. That is a correct statement. Okay. So again, through fermentation process only your CO2 will be released. Moving on to the next question, which is choose the correct statement regarding the population interaction between two species. Option number 1, we need to find out the correct answer. Both parasitism and commensalism, only one species benefit and other will be harmed. Correct for this, not correct for this. It is an incorrect statement. Both the species benefit in mutualism. It is a correct statement. Both the species benefit in commensalism. No, there is no benefit into commensalism. Parasitism, only one species benefit and other species is harmed. That is a correct statement. In amensalism, one species is harmed and other is unaffected. Again, it is a correct statement. A and C are incorrect. B, D and E are correct. So, answer has to be option number 4. B, D and E will be the correct answer. Okay, everyone. तो दो क्वेश्चन हम लोग सॉल्व करने वाले हैं बच्चों. ये दो क्वेश्चन में the question number 1 रहा आपका ये, जिसमें we have to find out the incorrect statement. Incorrect का मतलब होता है wrong statement हमारे से पूछी हुई है. एंड हमारे पास में 5 स्टेटमेंट है इस क्वेश्चन में. ठीक है, इस 5 स्टेटमेंट में पहले स्टेटमेंट है द वाटर स्प्लिटिंग कॉम्प्लेक्स इज एसोसिएटेड विद फोटोसिस्टम 1. जो वाटर स्प्लिटिंग कॉम्प्लेक्स है वो PS2 से एसोसिएट करता है, ना कि PS1 से. तो ये मेरी गलत स्टेटमेंट हो जाती है. Then we have C4 plant use the C3 pathway of CO2 fixation as the main biosynthetic pathway. Yes, that is perfectly correct statement. Plant मेरा C3 हो चाहे C4 हो, लेकिन वो C3 साइकिल को ही यूज करेगा. तो ये स्टेटमेंट बिल्कुल सही स्टेटमेंट है. In C4 plants, photorespiration does not occur. तो C4 plant के अंदर basically they avoid photorespiratory losses by 2 adaptations. One is Kranz-Anatomy, second is dimorphic chloroplast. ये statement सही है कुछ हद तक, but yes, बिल्कुल ही नहीं होता है photorespiration, ऐसा नहीं है, but बहुत ही little photorespiration इसमें रहता है. They are able to avoid photorespiration. C3 plant exhibit Kranz-Anatomy. C3 के अंदर Kranz-Anatomy नहीं है, C4 के अंदर Kranz-Anatomy होती है. ATP synthesis in chloroplast occurs through chemiosmotic hypothesis. ये correct statement है. तो A and D incorrect है, B, C and E are the correct statement. हमसे incorrect पूछा हुआ, that is why answer has to be option number 2 in this question. Okay. Now we have the next question, which is which of the following is an in situ conservation method? So in this question, in situ has been asked. In situ conservation method will be your sacred group. Answer for this question will be option number 1. ये दो questions आपके फिर से मैंने आपको बता दिए हैं. Make sure आप चैनल को सब्सक्राइब रखें, बेल आइकन को हिट रखें, ताकि आपके पास नोटिफिकेशंस आ जाएं. ठीक है बच्चों.